Good morning and welcome to News Around the Globe on Aneke TV, the trusted window on the major stories shaping Nigeria and the world today. I'm Nancy Marian. The headlines. Defense Minister resigns from Federal Cabinet. Northern governors renew call for establishment of state police. Osun governor to distribute POS devices to persons with disabilities. Abia governor visits Nnamdi Kanu at Sokoto Correctional Facility. Enugu enhances security as Governor Ba deploys high-tech drones and patrol vans. And on the foreign scene, WHO declares end of Ebola outbreak in Congo. Putin to meet U.S. envoy in Moscow on Ukraine peace talks. Substandard materials blamed for fatal Hong Kong apartment fire. And now on the news in detail. Nigeria's Defense Minister Alhaji Muhammadu Badru Abubakar has resigned his appointment with immediate effect. His resignation was conveyed in a letter dated December 1 and submitted to President Bola Tinubu. Presidential Special Advisor Bayo Nanuga confirmed that the president has accepted the resignation and thanked the former minister for his contributions to national security. Baduru, 63, is a former two-term governor of Jigawa State. His exit comes at a time President Tinubu has declared a national security emergency to strengthen the country's defense architecture. Government officials say arrangements are in place to ensure continuity at the ministry. The president is expected to forward the name of a new minister to the Senate later in the week to avoid vacuum in the nation's security coordination. National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu has assured families of more than 300 students and staff abducted from St. Mary's Co-Education School in Niger State that they will be reunited soon. The assurance followed a high-level federal government visit to the Kotangora community. Ribadu told school officials that the abducted children are fine and will come back safely, though he did not give details of their current location or rescue operations. Current officials described the visit as reassuring amid growing anxiety. The abduction is one of several mass kidnappings recorded in recent weeks, as security analysts warn that kidnapping has evolved into a structured criminal enterprise. Some victims from the same school have already escaped, while 25 students abducted in Kebbi State were freed earlier through non-kinetic means. The NSA said the government remains committed to securing all victims without delay. The delegation also included the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and the Director General of the DSS. Northern governors and traditional rulers have renewed calls for the establishment of state police as a structural response to rising insecurity. The decision was taken at a high-level security meeting in Kaduna, chaired by Governor Muhammadu Inuwa Yahaya. The forum urged federal and state lawmakers to expedite action on the proposal, saying decentralized policing is now critical to restoring stability in the region. They also identified illegal mining as a major driver of banditry and organized crime. Members recommended that President Tinubu directs the Minister of Solid Minerals to suspend mining exploration for 6 months to allow a full audit and revalidation of licenses. They say the step will help dismantle criminal networks benefiting from illicit mining. The forum further approved the creation of a Northern Regional Security Trust Fund, with each state and its local governments contributing 1 billion naira monthly to support joint security operations. Abia State Governor Dr. Alex Oti has visited detained IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu at a correctional facility in Sokoto. The governor was accompanied by Kanu's younger brother and the state attorney general. Governor Oti urged Kanu to remain strong noting that efforts to secure his release have intensified despite his recent conviction and life sentence on terrorism charges. He emphasized that the state prefers administrative engagement to prolonged confrontation. Oiti also converged what he described as support from the Sultan of Sokoto towards his intentions around the matter, a comment that reportedly drew laughter from Kano. The governor said dialogue remains the most sustainable path to resolving the crisis in the southeast. The visit has renewed discussions on possible administrative and diplomatic options that could de-escalate tensions and improve conditions for peace in the region. The Ekiti state government has assured residents that the state remains secure despite incidents of banditry reported in neighboring Kwara and Kogi states. The reassurance came during a quarterly security meeting in Ado-Ekiti. Special Advisor on Security Matters, retired Brigadier General Beniza Ogundana, said Governor Biodun Oyebanji is fully coordinating preventive strategies to keep the state safe. He noted that Ekiti remains one of the safest states due to proactive border surveillance. The government has also strengthened engagements with traditional rulers and local government chairmen to enhance community-based response mechanisms. Authorities say these steps are aimed at preventing any spillover of insecurity into the states. Residents were urged to remain vigilant and report suspicious movements promptly as security agencies continue to maintain strong presence at border communities. The Defense Headquarters has clarified a recent incident in Jiba, Katsina State, where local vigilante mistakenly opened fire on a convoy of Nigerian troops. The Nigerian soldiers were reported to be fetching water, a routine cross-border activity. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Michael Onoja, said the large size of the convoy led vigilantes to assume it was a hostile advance. Nigerian security officials immediately intervened to de-escalate the situation. Following dialogue with the Nigerian commander, the troops completed their activity and returned without further incidents. General Onoja said cooperation between both countries remains strong. The DHQ has convened a strong border security meeting to strengthen coordination and ensure better communication during future cross-border movements. The Enugu State Governor, Dr. Peter Ndubisimba, has inaugurated a new batch of high-tech security equipment acquired through the Enugu State Security Trust Fund. The items include 2 advanced drones, 10 Hilux patrol trucks, 40 motorcycles, and 400 bulletproof vests and helmets. Governor Bass said the deployment will reinforce the gains of administration's investments in surveillance infrastructure, including the command and control center and AI-enabled cameras across the state. He noted that violent crimes have reduced by over 80%. The governor said Enugu will continue to collaborate with the federal government to improve national security. He stressed that achieving the state's development vision requires sustained protection of lives and property. Trustees of the fund said the new equipment will further limit criminal activities and support the surge in business traffic to the states. The pledged deeper contributions to ensure Enugu remains the safest state in the region. A non-governmental organization, Body Without Sports, has called for increased prostate cancer screening among Nigerian men to enable early detection and reduce mortality. The appeal was made during a prostate health awareness event held at the Enugu Sports Club. Founder of the organization, Emeritus Professor Ifeoma Okoye, said many men avoid simple screening tests and only seek help when the disease has advanced. She describes screening as essential, especially for men aged 40 and above. Medical experts at the event highlighted common symptoms and warned that prostate cancer often shows no sign in early stages, making PSA testing important. They advised routine screening at least once or twice yearly. Stakeholders, including government officials and health advocates, pledged support for expanded awareness campaigns and called for reduced screening costs to enable wider access to early detection services. The Enugu State government has postponed its stakeholders' town hall meeting on the Digital Land Transformation Program earlier scheduled for today. The announcement was made by the Commissioner for Information and Communication, Dr. Malaki Abo. The government said a new date will be communicated once logistical arrangements are concluded. Authorities expressed regret over any inconvenience caused to invited guests and partners. Officials say the town hall meeting remains central to efforts to promote transparency and public understanding of the digitization reforms. The program aimed to modernize and streamline land administration across the states. The government reaffirmed its commitment to broad consultations as it implements reforms intended to build confidence and enhance service delivery in land management. Former NUJ President Chris Isiguzo has warned that unchecked misinformation and unregulated online content pose major threats to Nigeria's democracy. He spoke at the NUJ FCT 2025 Capacity Building Program in Kefi. Isiguzo said digital platforms now enable non-professionals to dominate the information space, often with harmful consequences. He urged journalists to strengthen their presence on social media to counter false narratives. He lamented the abuse of legal protection for journalists in Nigeria, noting that practitioners continue to work under fear of harassment and intimidation. He called for legislation to safeguard press freedom and professional standards. The news around the globe is coming to you live from Aneke TV. Remember, you can stay connected with us on all social media platforms: Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at Aneke TV. And now on a quick recap of the major stories making the news. Defense Minister steps down. Northern governors push for state police. Enugu boosts security with new drones and patrol vans. Coming up shortly, Ebola declared over in Congo. Florida talks between U.S. and Ukrainian officials focused on refining a U.S.-based peace plan. Zelensky stresses Ukraine's sovereignty and security guarantees. And fall to building materials blamed for Hong Kong fire. Hooray! It's Christmas! The King is born. Hey children, it's time to laugh, to dance and have some fun. Put on your dancing shoes and bring your friends along. Come on, it's the Aneke TV Children's Christmas Party 2025. Let's go! We got dancing, spelling bees, sack race, jumping 1, 2, 3, lots of games and surprises too. All we are waiting for is you. And venue is Aneke TV, number 30, Edinburgh Street, Ogwini Layout, Enugu. Come take your seat. Time is 12 o'clock. Don't be late. We can't wait to celebrate. Sponsored by Indomie. Yummy treats. Colgate, our smile so sweet. Kellogg's, bring the crunchy cheers. Malta Guinness, energy all year. Powered by Nigerian Breweries. And this is the best party guaranteed. Come one, come all. It's Christmas cheers. Be there. Be happy. The fun, it's here. Welcome back. The rest of the stories now. Health authorities in the Democratic Republic of Congo and the World Health Organization have declared the latest Ebola outbreak over after the country completed 42 days without a new case, meeting the standard of 2 full incubation cycles. The outbreak detected on September 4 in Kasai province was the country's 16th since 1976. In total, 64 infections were recorded, leading to 45 deaths and 19 recoveries. The WHO praised the rapid containment, crediting the DRC's strengthened national surveillance system for enabling swift detection and mapping of affected communities. The government has now begun a mandatory 90-day period of heightened surveillance to prevent any possible resurgence and to consolidate gains made in response readiness. The death toll from the rare cyclone-driven floods and landslides across Southeast Asia is now approaching 800, with Indonesia worst hit. Officials say more than 600 people have died there, whilst 464 remain missing after a week of torrential rains that started in the Malacca Straits. The Thailand authorities confirmed 176 fatalities as Prime Minister Autin Chivirangkul faces criticism over the government's slow response. Hard-hit communities such as Hatgay recorded their heaviest single-day rainfall in 3 centuries, with the Prime Minister giving a 7-day deadline for displaced residents to return home. Malaysia has reported 3 deaths as clean-up efforts continue across the region. In West Sumatra, Indonesia, Residents are clearing roads filled with mud, trees and debris, with more than 28,000 homes damaged and 1.5 million people affected. Russian President Vladimir Putin meets U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff in Moscow today as Washington expresses optimism about a possible deal to end the Ukraine war. Jared Kushner is also expected at the talks. The meeting follows 2 days of negotiations in Florida between Ukrainian and U.S. officials, where efforts focus on refining a U.S.-based peace plan seen as favorable to Russia. President Vladimir Zelensky says the discussions were constructive, but admits tough issues remain. After meeting French President Emmanuel Macron in Paris, Zelensky reaffirmed that Ukraine's priorities are safeguarding its sovereignty and securing strong security guarantees. Hong Kong police have arrested 13 people for suspected manslaughter following the city's deadliest fire in decades at the Wang Fung Court's housing estate. Investigators say substandard renovation materials, including non-fire retardant mesh and foams, intensified the blaze that has killed at least 151 people. Search teams are still combing through 7 burnt towers, with officials reporting that many bodies were reduced to ash. Authorities believe contractors hid the unsafe materials in hard-to-reach areas, avoiding detection during inspections. Public anger is rising, especially after the government previously rated the complex as having relatively low fire risk. Security officials warn against attempts to use the tragedy for anti-government protests, with several petition organizers already detained. The White House says President Donald Trump's recent MRI scan was purely preventative and shows he's in excellent cardiovascular health. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt noted that such screenings are beneficial for men of the president's age. According to Leavitt, the results revealed no arterial blockage, abnormal blood flow, inflammation, or clotting. The scan also shows smooth vessel walls and normal abdominal imaging, easing concerns raised after initial details were withheld. The procedure, considered unusual for a routine checkup, had sparked speculation, especially given public scrutiny of the president's age and fitness. Officials maintain the results confirm he is in perfectly normal condition. Nigeria's total public debt has risen to 152.39 trillion naira in the second quarter of 2025, according to new data from the National Bureau of Statistics. The figure reflects a 2.01% increase from the 149.38 trillion naira recorded in the first quarter. Domestic debt accounts for 80.55 trillion naira, representing 52.86%, while external debt stands at 71.84 trillion naira. Lagos State remains the most indebted both domestically at 1.04 trillion naira and externally at $1.044 billion. Jigawa State posted the lowest domestic debt of 854.49 million naira, while the Federal Capital Territory recorded the lowest external debt at $19.26 million. Nigeria's economy recorded a real GDP growth of 3.98% in the third quarter of 2025, slightly higher than the 3.86% posted in the same period last year. The expansion was largely driven by improved performance in the services and agriculture sectors. Services contributed the highest share of output at 53.02%, followed by agriculture at 31.21%. The non-oil sector grew by 3.91%, outperforming both third quarter 2024 and second quarter 2025, with strong gains in crop production, telecoms, and financial services. Despite an increase in crude oil output to 1.64 million barrels per day, the oil sector contributed only 3.44% to real GDP. The naira yesterday appreciated to 1,470 per dollar in the parallel market from 1,476 per dollar last weekend. However, the naira depreciated to 1,450 naira per dollar in the Nigerian foreign exchange markets. Data published by the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) showed that the exchange rate for the naira rose to 1,450 naira per dollar from 1,446 naira 46.9 per dollar last weekend, indicating a 3.1 depreciation for the naira. As a result, the margin between the parallel market and NFEM rates narrowed to 20 naira per dollar from 29.1 per dollar last week Friday. And to sports stories, U.S. President Donald Trump will attend Friday's FIFA World Cup Finals draw at the Kennedy Center in Washington. The event is a major highlight of his second term and part of preparations for America's 250th independence anniversary next year. The tournament has faced political tension, with the president suggesting some host cities may lose matches due to his crackdown on what he calls crime and illegal migration in certain democratic-run areas. The U.S. will co-host the 2026 World Cup with Canada and Mexico, with the draw expected to set the tone for global attention on the three nations. Kwara United forward Eze Chibuzo says he is deeply disappointed after his side's 3-2 loss to Barrow FC in Kano. Chibuzo had opened scoring in the matchday 15 fixture, but said the team's effort was not enough to secure a point. The striker, speaking to the closed media team, expressed determination to increase his contributions as the season progresses. He vowed to build on his current form and help the team bounce back. Kwara United will host Niger Tornadoes in Ilorin this weekend as they seek to recover from the narrow defeat. And to entertainment stories, Nollywood actress Anita Joseph has reportedly ended her 5-year marriage to MC Fish after what sources describe as years of difficulty. Reports claim the relationship was affected by anger issues and alleged physical abuse, particularly linked to alcohol or substance use. Close associates say the actress endured significant personal trauma during the union, including a stillbirth and miscarriage. Despite repeated reconciliation attempts, the challenges reportedly persisted. Family and friends are now urging Anita Joseph to focus on healing, with insiders saying she should not feel pressured to issue a public statement about the breakup. Legendary musician Baba and his wife Natasha appear unfazed by a viral video showing the singer being handcuffed by U.S. police following an alleged altercation. The clip contradicts his earlier claim that he missed an event due to a medical emergency. In response, Baba shared a photo praising his wife as his honorable goddess, while Natasha posted a joint picture captioned, "A guy and a babe," suggesting unity despite the controversy. Reaction from fans remains divided, with some expressing concern and others, including media host Daddy Freeze, criticizing the singer's recent conduct and public image. And before we go on news around the globe, a recap of our top stories. Nigeria's Defense Minister Alhaji Mohammed Badar Abubakar has resigned his appointment with immediate effect. Northern governors have renewed their call for the establishment of state police as part of broader measures to address rising insecurity across the region. In Osun State, the governor is set to distribute point-of-sale devices to persons with disabilities to enhance their economic participation and financial independence. The Abia State governor has paid a visit to Nnamdi Kanu at the Secretary Correctional Facility, with discussions focusing on national cohesion and legal processes. Enugu State has strengthened its security operations as Governor Peter Mbah deploys high-tech drones, equipment, and patrol vans across the states. And on the foreign scene, the World Health Organization has officially declared the Ebola outbreak in Congo over, marking a significant milestone in global health response. Russian President Vladimir Putin is scheduled to meet with the United States Special Envoy Steve Witkoff in Moscow today, following signals from the White House that it is very optimistic about the prospect of securing a deal to end the war in Ukraine. We also told you that authorities in Hong Kong said substandard construction materials were responsible for the deadly apartment fire that has sparked fresh outrage over building safety compliance. And that's news around the globe on Aneke TV. For more news and live updates, follow us across all social media platforms: Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at Aneke TV. On behalf of the producer, Chidima Asogwa, and the entire news team, I'm Nancy Marian. Thank you very much for watching. Good morning. Hooray! It's Christmas. The King is born. Hey children, it's time to laugh, to dance and have some fun. Put on your dancing shoes and bring your friends along. Come on, it's the Aneke TV Children's Christmas Party 2025. Let's go! We got dancing, spelling bees, sack race, jumping 1, 2, 3, lots of games and surprises too. All we are waiting for is you. And venue is Aneke TV, number 30, Edinburgh Street, Ogwini Layout, Enugu. Come take your seat. Time is 12 o'clock. Don't be late. We can't wait to celebrate. Sponsored by Indomie. Yummy treats. Colgate, our smile so sweet. Kellogg's, bring the crunchy cheers. Malta Guinness, energy all year, powered by Nigerian Breweries, and this is the best party guaranteed. Come one, come all. It's Christmas cheers. Be there, be happy. The fun, it's here.
The federal government has launched a major drive to recruit thousands of new police officers and security personnel across Nigeria. We are here on the street to ask Nigerians if they would consider applying.
It's personally, I won't advise somebody to apply or not to apply. The truth is this: if government involved in this recruitment can be sincere to themselves, we can go in. But sometimes people will tell you that let's go to hunt. At the end of the day, they call you, see your leg is out of this thing. So that's the problem. If they are sincere to themselves, people will come and help. But at the end of the day, you see when they recruit you, they got the back and fire. So that's the way I see it. Well, I'm old enough to involve myself in such a thing now. But the young ones, I want to involve themselves. Let them do that. But let the government be sincere to themselves. Give them backup. No backup. Not when you give somebody sword to go and say you draw rent to beat that person. It's not good.
Police. For what? I like my life. Me where they could cost police people now. Maybe they can't they cost me too. No. No is the answer, please. I don't find it honorable enough to serve this country in that capacity. Policemen, they are not as valued as they are in other countries. So why lay down your life for a country that does not care about you as a citizen first? Obuluze police. It doesn't make sense to me. There are places where, there are countries where if you open up mass recruitment, they will flock to join, but ask some other person, 1 out of 100 people will not even join. And even if they do join, they are joining because of lack of jobs, just something to be doing for the meantime before they get something better, because police in Nigeria is not a noble profession.
Some people may say, I love to be a soldier. But for me, even if a soldier to marry a soldier, I don't like it. Police and all of them is what? The same thing. And they're not uniform people. That is, I don't like anything uniform. I don't know why.
Yes, I will. To protect my country and also to serve as a youth.
With the new mass recruitment, I would consider applying, but if the condition for applying is that I'll be sent to fight the war, I don't think I would. Not in the sense that I wouldn't, with the right training, I wouldn't be able to do the job, but I'm an only child. So I consider the fate of others, my mother especially, before any decision I make. If in the future, when peace has been achieved, If there comes an opportunity that comes up for me to be in any law enforcement agency, then fine and good, we'll do it. But for now, the instability would not help me, would not allow me to do that.
As Nigeria steps up efforts to tackle insecurity, the public's interest in joining the police and security forces seems mixed. I am Chinaza Ifeanyi, reporting for Aneke TV.
God. God is not far. He is in the stillness after the chaos, in the laughter of children, in the stranger who smiled at you for no reason. He is not confined to buildings or books. He walks with us in dust and rain, in heartbreak and healing. He is the answer before we even speak. To seek God is to seek love, and to find God, truly find Him, is to love deeper, live fuller, and give without counting.
Imo State unfolds like a living poem, a tapestry of memory, aspiration, and transformation. Here, history is not settled in the past, but continues to move forward, carried in the footsteps of Imolites, whose resolve and optimism animate every corner of the land. The people and their spirit Imolites are renewed for their courage, enterprise, and intellect. From the bustling avenues of Owerri to the rolling hills of Idato, both the young and the old carry a quiet, steadfast conviction. Education is not just a means to an end, but a calling. Their ambition lives in the classrooms, in labs, in markets, and in the global Imo diaspora. Imo's cultural heartbeat is rhythmic and rich. High life melodies mingle with gospel harmonies and modern beats, each song echoing ancestral memory and youthful vigor. Traditional dances carry stories of community, origin, and resilience, even as innovation blossoms, rooted in respect for heritage. Infrastructure and roads. Under Governor Hope Uzodinma, Imo has undergone what many describe as a road revolution. The administration claims to have delivered over 120 quality roads within 5 years. Notable among them are the dualized Owerri Olo and Owerri Okigwe roads. The Mbidi Oguta Road and 18-kilometer dual carriageway was commissioned in early 2025, aiming to boost economic activities in Uru West and Oguta LGAs, especially by connecting to the Orashi Energy Free Trade Zone. Other signature infrastructure includes the Azamta flyover to decongest traffic and the Emmanuel Iwanyam International Conference Center, which has been built to world-class standards. Governor Uzodinma has also stated that these infrastructure investments are not just for mobility, but are economic corridors intended to stimulate trade, reduce travel time, and integrate Imo's communities more closely. Under human capital development, health and education, and on health, the Governor Uzodinma administration reports a comprehensive revamp. Renovation of 305 health centers, purportedly one in each electoral ward. Establishment of 55 new primary health centers, announced in 2025 to expand access, particularly in rural areas. Construction of 3 new general hospitals at Ohaji, Oguta, and Omuma. Revitalization of the Imo State University Teaching Hospital and the Specialist Hospital, plus re-accreditation of nursing and midwifery schools. Creation of a state health insurance scheme known as Imo Health Insurance, which has reportedly covered more than 66,000 residents. deployment of mobile clinics to reach rural and underdeserved communities. In education, Governor Uzodimma has significantly expanded tertiary education. What was once one functioning public university has grown to three, along with a polytechnic and a college of education. He has also prioritized youth empowerment and governance. There are strong signals of financial reforms. According to some reports, Uzodimma has focused heavily on capital spending, budgeting major parts of the state resources towards infrastructure and development. Then, Imo under Emeka Ihedioha, renewal and vision. While much of the recent narrative focuses on Governor Uzodimma, it is important to acknowledge the contributions of his predecessor, Chief Emeka Ihedioha.
Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, 042, and a very, very, very good morning to everyone watching. You're tuned into Sunrise on Aneke TV, where every sunrise begins with delightfulness, bringing you your daily dose of cheer and joy. I am Deborah Wakuba, coming to you live from our studio here in Vibrant Enugu.
And good morning to you, our global audience. I'm Uche Osai. Wherever you are, at home, in your office, or in traffic, or even making breakfast at home, thank you for letting us into your space. This beautiful morning, we're here to refresh, inform, and motivate.
Yes, it's Tuesday, 2nd of December 2025, and of course it's another bright and new edition of Sunrise here today on Aneke TV. And of course we've got a power-packed morning for you today with our latest news, trending stories, our business stock update, and lots more so to keep you well driven.
So, grab that cup of coffee or tea, relax, enjoy the ride, because the sunrise is here.
Yes, and coming up shortly, we'll be kicking things off with our quote of the day, with words that are thoughtful, words that are inspiring, and words that could offer insight to whatever we do to help us stay focused or feel motivated.
Then, it's straight into the desktop headlines. All the key news update that you need to remain informed will be served hot and crispy.
Yes, and right after that, we'll be giving you a weather report covering cities across the southeast and beyond, so you know what to expect before you step out, or if you've stepped out already, is to keep you throughout the rest of the day.
And let us wrap things up with some fun global holidays on celebrations to lift your spirits and keep you smiling.
All right, now let's move over to our morning show inspiration segment. Now this morning, we would ease into the day with a reminder that hits right at the heart of purpose, coming from Oprah Winfrey. And she said in a quote, "Don't worry about being successful, but work toward being significant, and the success will naturally follow." I'm going to take that quote again, coming from Oprah Winfrey. She said, "Don't worry about being successful, but work towards being significant, and the success will naturally follow." Now this quote, it means or is telling us that we should live in a way that impacts people, that adds value, that uplifts your community and expresses your true gifts. So instead of chasing title, instead of chasing the fame, let us try to build a lifestyle that will meet or that will create impact in any other person's life, not just only your own. Because when you're, like a quote that once said here, that true success is actually when it shows towards another person, not just only you. Now, when it's being shown to another person, when it benefits other person's lives, that's what true success actually means. Mr. Ocha, I'd like to know your thoughts on this quote.
All right. Speaking to Prawifre, a successful person telling us how to be successful.
Yeah.
You know, if left for me, anybody that has this course should take it very serious, because it takes the successful to know the path they've treaded, how they become successful, and they can be an expert, guide for one to be successful in life. And here, Oprah is telling us that we should not put, being successful at the forefront. Why we know yes, we want to be successful at what we're doing, but he is telling us here that what we should work on is towards being significant where we are. Then, from being significant, you walk up the ladder. For him, in this quote, is a step-by-step approach. You don't just want to rush the process, but one step at a time. Keep working to being significant at what you do.
Yeah.
It could be, I like speaking to my brothers who are in the market, when you've been settled, you've done the Igbo apprenticeship system. You've served your master and you've been settled. Once you're settled, you don't want to be your boss, get to the level of your boss overnight. There are steps that you need to take. One of such steps is, be there every day. And why there? Open up early. Why you're opening up early, begin to interact, have good customer relationship. Begin to, while you've stocked your shop, your approach to your customers, your after-sales service, is a process, gradual by gradual. Then you see yourself as you are being significant daily. You become, you now become, because it's a state of being. When you've been taking it one step at a time, you now see yourself that gradually you're becoming successful.
Yeah.
And before you would say Jack Robinson, you see yourself growing to the status of your master. But when you start off, immediately you're settled and you want to get to the status of your master, you fall into that situation.
Yes.
Where you see our boys now on the street, they get rich quick syndrome that we have.
Yes.
People are going into what they call the Yahoo Plus,
Everybody
Everybody
fast
wants
money.
fast money, because we begin to equate money to success. We begin to equate wealth to success without analyzing what success is all about. And here is Oprah Winfrey telling us this morning. He said we shouldn't worry about being successful, but work towards being significant.
Yeah.
And the success will naturally follow. And this is the step that we miss, Just like when you've gone to school, you've gotten admission in the university, and by year one, you're beginning to want to write your project. You will fail.
Yes.
You have to do coursework, graduate from first year in the university, do your year one coursework, write your semester exam after you've done your assignment and attended lectures as well. You see yourself after the first semester, the second semester, you move to the next class. From the next class, you get to the final year where you do your project. And cumulatively, you see that it's not just the final year that would give the results of what you come out with. Whether you graduate summa cum laude, it depends on your work ethic from your year one. That's if you're going to graduate with first class. That is determined from the day you step into that very university. The day you enter the 4 walls of the university is determined by your approach from year one. Then beyond that, you see that there's a cumulative summary of your performance across the years, determining if you will come out as university attendant. University attendant.
Okay. Yes. Thank you for coming. That's what they call it.
University can give university. Thank you for coming.
Yes.
So, but if you've done well cumulatively, you come out with first class. You come out with second class upper or second class lower or even third class. I remember years back in the university when we walk through a particular spot, speaking to the University of Nigeria, then we pass through a building, very gigantic, well-beautified edifice. And people will always say, this university, they know they respect person. Imagine the person that built this edifice and handed it over to university, that they gave him pass. I don't want to mention them now, So, but they gave this individual a pass, and people would have said, "What's a university?" But at the end of the day, it's about your cumulative performance over the year, and that's what Oprah Winfrey is telling us, that we should not work on, that we should gradually work on being. Because if you being significant is working on being, and by the time you work on being, you see yourself stepping up to daily you're working on being successful,
Yeah.
and at the tail end of it you become successful even without struggling for it, because you've cumulatively worked towards it. And then moving away, I've cited the marketplace,
Yeah.
where you see why the Igbo other tribes in Nigeria and beyond Nigeria, people are envious of the Igbos, because this quote is as if Oprah Winfrey had the Igbos in mind when he was giving this
The quote,
these
yeah.
words in marble. Yes, because you see that apprenticeship system, the apprenticeship system, you don't have the prototype anywhere in the world. Is developed solely by the Igbos, carried out web, very practical, that you don't see it replicated anywhere across the globe, such that the Harvard University have come out to, begin to write on it. People have taken time to study the system. And this is a system that has been there over centuries and has not failed. And what does this system do? Just like in this quote, it begins to replicate. You see the master replicating himself in other people. You see some of these boys who have passed through apprenticeship system, for example, even becoming weightier than their boss that trained them. Telling you about the success of this system, about what Oprah Winfrey is telling us this morning. You working towards being significant, and definitely, you get to be successful. And that's very apt of Oprah. And I did start by telling you that, yes, a successful person can guide you to being successful, which is why I linked it to the Igbos, and then we are seeing it here, because she is successful and she can tell you that, yes, this is the pathway to being successful. And I encourage especially the younger ones, youth out there, to listen to this quote this morning. Work with it. Do not, start out by wanting to amass wealth without labor, wealth without work. You want to flaunt wealth all of a sudden. Overnight, you wake up, you just want to, drive the best of cars, live in the best of houses, wear the best of clothes and all that, without nothing to account for it.
Yeah.
You first have to, put your hand in the till, and after you've labored, then comes a time for reward. And you see, that gives you a sustainable wealth, which is what Oprah is talking about. That wealth that is accumulated all of a sudden, wealth without enterprise, you see it evaporate over time.
Yeah, you don't have good use of it. There's nothing tangible to use and hold it. That's true.
There's nothing to back it up, because it's just, should I use the word mirage?
Let's say, as it comes, anyhow, it goes anyhow.
As it comes, it goes. Because, yes, there's no sure foundation for it. There's no footing.
Yeah,
it's just like air.
There's something my dad was, there's something my dad would say, like, when you get something that is not, you do not work hard for it, you won't value it.
Yes.
So you misuse it. That's the same way when you get rich quick syndrome, you get that wealth, you get that thing at that particular moment, you just spend it anyhow because you don't have value for it.
No wonder, for those of us that go out in the night, for example, that's why you see these boys, they pour champagne,
yes.
Talk about the drinks, Mattel.
If you're earning a month's salary, you won't even dare it.
They'll spend your salary in 1 minute,
Okay.
And yeah, I've seen these boys wash with champagne, and they brandish these phones and they pour champagne on it to tell you that it's the original, the authentic. And you see for somebody, Rolex, and they are pouring, wine on it and all that. And that's the word we are talking, because those, when you look at it, these are wealth without enterprise. You won't see the likes of Cosmos Modcam, now advertising, for example, who have wealth that is rooted doing all sorts of such things. You won't have men who have labored for their wealth, coming to throw it lavishly. No, because that's wealth without enterprise. And you see it over time. Funny enough, give it time. You see these individuals who have done all this, you see them at times trekking because they can't sustain that weight. You see them,
or they're looking for another means to get it again.
For another means, because it's not sustainable. And that's what Oprah Winfrey is pointing us this morning, that we should not work at, just being successful, but work at being significant.
Yes.
Which is why the Igbo apprenticeship system works till tomorrow.
That's true. All right, thank you very much for that. Well, like Oprah's quote says this morning, don't worry about being successful, but work toward being significant, and the success will naturally follow. Now, Oprah is also still telling us that we should forget about chasing titles. chasing fame, the applause and everything, but rather we should work on being valuable. We should work on that being significant. Make yourself to be valued. Make yourself, in fact, put value on yourself. I put a price on yourself, actually, if I should use that word. And then we should know that success isn't the destination, but instead significance is. If you're successful at the end of the day and nobody knows you, nobody has heard your name before, then it doesn't prove anything. But when you're significant, even if you don't have that wealth, like people say, stinking wealth, yes, but instead there's a particular thing people know you for. This is what Oprah Winfrey's quote is trying to tell us today, and also it's also trying to say that we should keep in mind that whenever we always help people out, that is what people, they will remember you for, as somebody, because this is part of your significance, this is part of what you do, this is now part of you, and people remember it for it. And then when you also pursue your passion with purpose, opportunities come naturally. Now, I'm not trying to take a side here, but I'm stating out that when, like, the get rich quick syndrome, now you have value for your money, you have plans for what you're chasing. Now when you chase it with passion and everything, like, opportunities will come your way, and then you build yourself significantly. And also that when you invest in becoming valuable, success begins to look for you. Now you don't need to go and start looking for success. Instead, it will be them coming towards you. Now, if you are good at what you do, if this is what you can do and you do it best, you would find out that everyone is looking for you, just you, no matter how small you are, no matter how big you are. But instead, according to Winfrey's quote today, let us try and chase significance, not only success. Now, success is good, success is beautiful, but instead let us put a value to ourselves. Let us put value in order for us to be known as this significant person. And also, as we step about our day to day, let us keep in mind, and let us keep in mind that we're important, and also that we shouldn't stress about the spotlight. We shouldn't stress about the spotlight, but instead focus on what you know how to do and do it best, and put your whole heart to it. Like you rightfully said, the Igbo is known for apprenticeship. Now, after serving your master for a long time, at the end of the day, he settles you, and you'll find out that they value that settlement.
Yes.
Now they want to build it up to become something better.
Yes,
Yeah.
and sorry, because that's a process. They've gone through that process, and it's that process Oprah is telling us about, remaining significant. You see, anybody that has gone through process, the person stays true to that process, and that's why you see them becoming more successful over time. I've seen instances where even graduates that didn't pass through that system fell in business. But you see some of the people who have become successful in this Igbo apprenticeship system, they never saw the four walls of the school. They never attended a primary school before. Some stopped at primary 3, primary 6, and you see them turn out to be very successful businessmen because they've undergone through that process. And it's that process, Debbie, I think Oprah is telling us to continue to remain significant, because that's the process. And that process at the end of the day pays off, leading you to being successful.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much. So as we heard about our day today, whether we're students, we're workers, or wherever you are, please keep in mind that when you live your life in a way that touches others, that success isn't just possible, it is inevitable. Now, success would surely come knocking at your door. So if you should be significant and if you should have value, that's why sometimes, mostly, we look at celebrities, we look at people and say, when you go online and ask of this person's worth, now they bring it out for you. Okay, this is what the person is worth. Now, I'm using this platform as an example to say that when you put value to your name, when you add value to yourself, be what people remember, and let there be something that is significant. Let us be something that is good that people remember you with, and not just, okay, yes, this is the person that just squanders the money, or he or she earns. That is not even her money, it's not even his money. But instead, I'm saying money, for example, because that is what everybody is definitely after. So let us try and be significant in our own way. Let us be unique in our own way. At the end of the day, success will come finding us. And please do not forget that each new sunrise is an opportunity for us to grow, is a platform for us to learn or try something new every day. And please let us know what this quote means to you. You can drop your thoughts on Facebook, X, Instagram, or TikTok, or YouTube, all at Aneke TV, or you can call our phone number 070-3043-7110. We'll be right back after the break.
Hooray! It's Christmas. The King is born. Hey children, it's time to laugh, to dance and have some fun. Put on your dancing shoes and bring your friends along. Come on, it's the Aneke TV Children's Christmas Party 2025. Let's go! We got dancing, spelling bees, sack race, jumping 1, 2, 3, lots of games and surprises too. All we are waiting for is you. And venue is Aneke TV, number 30, Edinburgh Street, Ogwini Layout, Enugu. Come take your seat. Time is 12 o'clock. Don't be late. We can't wait to celebrate. Sponsored by Indomie. Yummy treats. Colgate, our smile so sweet. Kellogg's, bring the crunchy cheers. Malta Guinness, energy all year. Powered by Nigerian Breweries. And this is the best party guaranteed. Come one, come all. It's Christmas cheers. Be there. Be happy. The fun, it's here.
You're still watching Sunrise on Aneke TV. Next, let's take a look at the weather across major cities in the southeast today.
Yes, and in Oka, early morning starts off a bit moody with showers, then clouds through mid-morning. By midday, things brightens a bit, partly sunny skies with temperatures hitting 30 degrees Celsius. Late afternoon, stroke early evening, keep an umbrella handy. Scattered thunderstorms likely.
Good morning, Coal City, and over to Enugu. Gorgeous start to the day. Partly cloudy and 24 degrees Celsius. Through morning, clouds linger and temperature climbs up to around 34 to 35 degrees Celsius by mid-afternoon. Skies turn partly sunny into the evening. A dry, warm, and relatively stable day.
And in Abakaliki, it's a calm, cloudy morning, about 24 degrees Celsius. Clouds begin to clear around noon, sunshine peeks through. Expect hot and hazy condition up to 35 degrees Celsius by afternoon. Evening cools down, is gentle, and skies stay mostly clear.
And good morning, Imo State. Overcast and chill around 23 to 24 degrees Celsius as you rise this morning. Watch out by late morning, thunderstorms are likely. Expect a rainy, dramatic start to the late morning. After the storm, the sky slowly clear, cloudy to cloudy, partly sunny, with temperatures rising to 32 to 89 degrees Celsius.
And lastly, in Umahia, cloudy and comfortable now, around 23 to 24 degrees Celsius. Rain and thunderstorms likely between morning. Might need that raincoat or umbrella. Midday to afternoon stays mostly cloudy, warming up to about 32 degrees Celsius. The evening brings a little respite as cloud ease.
So, wherever you are in Southeast today, stay safe, stay cool, dress light. But do remember that rain or shine, we've got you covered. And this is your weather report on Sunrise on Aneke TV. We'll take a short break. I will be right back with more updates.
Hooray! It's Christmas. The King is born. Hey children, it's time to laugh, to dance and have some fun. Put on your dancing shoes and bring your friends along. Come on, it's the Aneke TV Children's Christmas Party 2025. Let's go! We got dancing, spelling bees, sack race, jumping 1, 2, 3, lots of games and surprises too. All we are waiting for is you. And venue is Aneke TV, number 30, Edinburgh Street, Ogwini Layout, Enugu. Come take your seat. Time is 12 o'clock. Don't be late. We can't wait to celebrate. Sponsored by Indomie. Yummy treats. Colgate, our smile so sweet. Kellogg's, bring the crunchy cheers. Malta Guinness, energy all year. Powered by Nigerian Breweries. And this is the best party guaranteed. Come one, come all. It's Christmas cheers. Be there. Be happy. The fun, it's here.
You're still watching Sunrise on Aneke TV. Now let's take a look at the front page news across major newspapers today in The Nation, Punch, Vanguard and The Guardian newspaper. Now The Nation headline says, Defense Minister Badara resigns. And the Punch headline says, Abduction surge, Northern governors demand mining suspension, unveil 228 billion naira security fund. And then on the Vanguard headline says, Insecurity, Northern governors, OK State Police suspend mining. And in the Guardian headline says, Northern leaders suspend mining, back state police to tackle insecurity. And our paper will be starting from the Nation headline today that says, the First Minister Badara resigned. Our top story this morning, the Mohammed Badara Abubakar has officially resigned as Minister of Defense, effective immediately. In a letter dated December 1st, Mr. Badara said he was stepping down on health grounds. The resignation was accepted by Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the presidency thanked him for his service. Mr. Ocha, I'd like to know your thoughts on this headline.
Well, I don't know how to begin to look at the issue of this resignation, either to be excited that we're seeing a resignation of the defense minister at this point in time, or to be quite apprehensive if there are other reasons. But be that as it may, Badaru that we know, who is the defense minister, he's about 63 years old as we speak, and then he's from Jigawa State, a businessman and politician who has been a two-term governor of Jigawa State, from 2015 to 2023, and is one of the inaugural ministers of the president, being one of the ministers that we inaugurated as at 21st of August in 2023, when the president was sworn into office, one of his earliest appointees, and then seeing Badaru, resigning from such a position where he's been appointed as, and he has served as the Minister of Defense. And then this morning we're hearing that he's resigned from that exalted office. And over the period that he presided as the defense minister, one of his jobs, or majorly, he was overseeing the armed forces, coordinating anti-insurgents and operation, managing defense budgets as well. And beyond that, that's a very critical job in the sense that he dealt with grappling terrorism, banditry, Boko Haram, ISWAP that we've witnessed across the length and breadth, especially in northern Nigeria. But quite troublesome is that we have been told that he is resigning on head ground. The information came from the advisor to Mr. President Bayo Ononoga, who announced that Badaru has resigned from his position on head ground, and the president received his resignation, which has prompted a lot of individuals to begin to, raise concern in that the manner of resignation. And I don't know if this is the normal procedure in this government, because we've noticed that when every top government ranking official resigns in this administration, is usually on head grounds. And if we were to look at that instance, because Badaro that we saw, some few days back was hale and hearty, walked with strides and all that. He didn't show any sign of sickness in any way. And then being told this morning that he has resigned has led a lot of people to begin to have a deep search into concerns to why he will leave his position. But if one is to hazard opinion into this resignation,
Yeah.
I may think that it's not connected to the level of insurgency that
And
we witness,
insecurity,
insecurity that we're witnessing in these times, being that the United States of America will keep speaking to it as designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern, raising
Yeah.
alarm about killing of Christians in Nigeria, and with the debates raging on and on concerning the status quo of Nigeria as a country of particular concern, where people don't have religious freedom and where there is this shadow of Islamization on about Nigeria, has raised a lot of concern. And amidst that, we were thinking that with the, with the debate ranging concerning insecurity in Nigeria, that we will have witnessed a decline in security issues. Talk about banditry, talk about terrorism, talk about the ASWAP and the Boko Haram and the Lakrama and the rest of them. We were thinking that the insecurity in Nigeria will begin to subside, being that there is a global attention on Nigeria, with President Trump coming out to say that he is most likely to put boots on ground in Nigeria. Why that debate ranges on what we have witnessed is myriads of kidnap ranging from Niger, where school children at a Catholic school were kidnapped.
Abducted, yeah.
Yes, not talking about the issue in Marga where about 25 to 26 school children were equally kidnapped. We're not talking about issues in Kwara, Kebbi, Niger State as well. And when you look at the numbers that have been kidnapped in fortnight, the number has risen. It has recruited to over 300 children. Even most recently, we've been told that even in the FCT, even a pregnant woman and a nursing mother were equally part of people who've been kidnapped. When you speak to insecurity in Nigeria, it has no boundaries.
That's
because
true.
it goes across the state. Now we are heightening attention in the north due to the spate of the increase in that region. And then the defense minister, who is from Jigawa State, coming to resign amidst this challenge, where he has, led the coordinating efforts of our armed forces over time, leaves more with the being told that he's resigning on head ground, a man who saw very healthy, begins to raise a lot of questions concerning that resignation, which many people have now come out to cite that is as a result of the failures in curtailing the activities of the Boko Haram ASWAP, the myriads of kidnapping cases that we are witnessing across the length and breadth of the northern region.
Yeah.
That's not to understate the fact that the southern Nigeria, eastern Nigeria, and the west are equally battling with challenges of insecurity as well. But be that as it may, we're now beginning to look at what would made the defense minister resign, a man who is one of the top-ranking ministers in this administration, citing health grounds. If he is actually sick, then just like the president did by wishing him quick recovery, we're equally wishing him quick recovery as well, that he should go home and take care of his health. Being that we are in a climate where people don't seem to resign from office, people are usually forced to leave office, or when they lose the election, they leave that office. Then many people have come out to say that this may not be unconnected to the fact that there is a link allegedly, because the fact has not been made publicly, that the minister for state is equally linked to the issue of some of these heinous activities of these bandits and all that. The facts in this we cannot ascertain at this moment, but people are hazarding a guess to why the defense minister is resigning. And again, you recall that the former CBS, talk about retired General Christopher Musa, had a meeting with the president, and people are beginning to speculate that his leaving is in a way, to make room available for retired General Christopher Musa to take over as substantive defense minister, being that retired General Christopher Musa himself is quite experienced in coordinating and leading onslaught against terrorism, banditry, that such a man occupying such an elevated position will give Nigeria the privilege and opportunity to lead a serious onslaught against, these terrorists and bandits. However, many people have come out equally to link his resignation to his comment a few days back, where the defense minister talking about Badaru, came out public to say that the Nigerian Air Force, their bombs is unable to penetrate the thick forest where these bandits hide, and many have said that that has emboldened the bandits, the terrorists, to continue to lead an onslaught against the Nigerian state. I don't know, we're just hazarding a guess to why, if these are the issues that pressured him to leave such office, there is quite speculation here and there. But above all, the conclusion I want to drive is that is under his watch, we've witnessed heightened insecurity across the length and breadth of this nation. And on that ground is a good enough reason for anybody to leave office. Yes, I started by saying that we do not witness such resignations in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And if we were told on that it was on that ground that the defense minister has resigned, we will celebrate him the more. But if I want to link this to be a tradition with this government, you will recall that the former governor of Kano State talked about the APC chairman, Umar Ganduje, when he resigned from his position as the chairman of APC, what were we told? We were told that he was on held ground, that he left office.
Yeah.
And a man we were told that left his position as the chairman of APC on held ground was within the next month, appointed into another office
Yeah.
by the same government. So now makes you to, take with a pinch of salt when you are told that people are resigning on held ground on this issue. If I may want to overstep my bounds and, pick into situation with this government, I'll begin to look at the issue of people who have been forced, to resign or submit their resignation letter to Mr. President, talking about the case in Enugu of the then Minister Uche Nnaji, right, who was forced to resign based on allegation concerning his certificate, the university certificate and NYC, participation, leading him to resign, quietly to the president without this issue being, challenged or being seen through in court. So when you take these scenarios, you begin to think that this is a trajectory in this government where people will be forced to leave their office, citing issues that are unconnected to the main reason, leaving the generality of Nigerians to begin to hazard a gaze into why such a person is leaving office. And given that this is a high-profile individual and is a strong APC stalwart, being made to resign from this office, a lot of people are beginning to look at what the perception will be in Jigawa State, where he comes from, where they will have this, this apprehension over the ruling party, being that they are losing their slots. Defense ministry is one of the most coveted seats, as a minister, and one of the most exalted position in Nigeria. But be that as it may, men have come out to say that because of his civilian background, he has no technicalities in military operation. He is not a soldier. You understand? And then being made to oversee, the armed forces that is at war, even though we don't want to accept it, but we are burdened with criminalities leading to insurgents and high level of kidnappings all over the place. Just a few days ago, the former governor of Anambra State, he talked about Dr. Chris Ngige was attacked, So you have heightened insecurity in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And it may be germane that such a man, though a very savvy businessman and a good politician, is meant to step aside because if I may say, the tides are getting higher, and this where you may need someone who is good in military tactics and operation, to begin to spearhead the activities in this agency, in this ministry, where you need high-level coordination amongst the various security agencies that we have in Nigeria. And General Christopher Musa being touted to be the one that is being positioned to take such a position. If at the end of the day, that's rumor, he is the one, yes, people will begin to give credence to why the Badaro needs to resign, being a civilian himself with no technical know-how on military operations, So if that's the case, it's worth it that he's stepping outside. So at this government that has declared a state of emergency on insecurity will begin to take a decisive action on insecurity. And for me, that's a step in right direction. But what I'm against is government, shrouding everything in secrecy. That shouldn't be the way to go. We should commend men like him for their efforts, for their service to the nation. And then allow them to, step out to go fill in into other roles. And that speaks to the fact that when we appoint people into offices, it shouldn't be for, compensation, where you begin to appoint men into offices where they don't fit in. What would have stopped us from day one appointing someone with military security experience into such position? Perhaps we won't be witnessing this heightened level of insecurity across the length and breadth of this nation. So it now behoves on our leaders to, from the onset, begin to look for men, irrespective of which political party the person belongs to, which part of the country the person comes from. So far as a man is qualified to, in fact, they should look out for most qualified people to occupy such positions. If you remember, when the former President Olusegun Obasanjo left office, and his appointees, were rushed by the international community, speaking to Ngozo Konjiwala and the likes of them. They were all rushed, by international organization. Where is Ngozo Konjiwala today? She is there at the World Trade, Trade Organization, a very, very important role in the world. And because Nigeria appointed men with quality, that the world could see to it that these are capable hands. And we should equally emulate that line in our appointments as a nation, where we do not have to, begin to, pamper issues, begin to, pancake issues on why somebody has left an office. Yes, it is pertinent to say that Bajaru, though a good man, has done a very wonderful job in this very position, but the stakes are now higher, and he is being overwhelmed by the situation. And President, that has declared a state of emergency, may want a more capable hand in such position. And that does not take away from the fact that tomorrow he could be appointed into other offices, or be made an ambassador, isn't it? As that, because he has a better profile than most of the people that we've seen on the ambassador list. So, but for me, the most important thing is that there's an opportunity for Mr. President to appoint someone into that office who is well knowledge in the theater operation and coordination of the various, security forces to see that the onslaught against these insurgents are sustained, and will have a coordinated effort to see that insecurity is brought to the barest minimum in Nigeria.
All right, thank you very much for that. Well, now we're moving over to our next paper for today, coming from the Vanguard headline that says, Northern governors approve state police suspend mining. In line with the Punch reports today from the Vanguard, because the Punch headline says, abduction surge, Northern governors demand mining suspension, unveiled 228 billion naira security fund. Now, the Vanguard confirms that the Northern governors have given their backing to the establishment of state-level police forces, arguing the current centralized police structure is no longer adequate for Nigerian size and complexity. They also formally requested a 6-month ban on mining exploration in the region, aimed at cutting off illicit financing channels for gangs and armed groups. This collective decision reflects what many in the region now see as a critical turning point, calling for bold reforms rather than piecemeal responses if security is to be restored.
Well, insecurity in Nigeria, has been on the front burner for the past months. You understand, we've been speaking to insecurity in Nigeria, and that without the fact that scenario in Nigeria. And it's just like I just said, since Donald Trump brought attention to the activity of insurgents, the killings in Nigeria, where we were thinking that we'll have the situation so reduced to the barest minimum. What we're now witnessing is an onslaught against the state, especially against the girl child and students, in Nigeria, where students are now being kidnapped. And we've over the months hazard against that perhaps they want to use these children as shield if Donald Trump eventually attacks. But before I go into speaking to this issue now, I want to first of all thank the president, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, because we are seeing that these children are being returned, to the states and will be reunited with their families. And unlike what we witnessed in Chibok in 2014, 2015, where we could not give a comprehensive account of the return of the kidnapped Chibok children, but this time around we are seeing the return of these, victims quite active, without resting and seeing to it. And we'll listen to the president when he said that he has suspended his foreign trip, to personally, spearhead the efforts to return these children.
Yeah.
And that's where I congratulate him now that we've heard and seen that these children are beginning to
They're
return.
back home, yeah.
Yes, irrespective of the conversation around how the government was able to bring these children back home. But what I say that whichever method they've applied, though some methods may be questioned, but it is heartwarming to know that these children have been returned back to their parents, that the parents will be united with their children. That's one of the primary duties of a state. However, beyond that, we're expecting that the Nigerian government should be able to let the bandits, the terrorists know that you cannot mess with Nigeria and Nigerians and go scot-free.
Yeah.
It's time we begin to adapt that Israeli kind of state policy on security, on protecting the life and property of its national, where we do not, allow, these bandits determine or dictate the pace for us. We should rather set the pace for them. Having said that, looking at the headline of the Vanguard newspaper, where we were beginning to see that the northern governors have come together, to deliberate on issue of insecurity in their region, just like we heard and saw from the western caucus of the western governors, where they met in Ibadan the other day to decide on issues concerning insecurity. Every region seems to be meeting. Everyone seems to be paying attention and taking action concerning the state of Nigeria at the moment. We need all hands on deck. The western governors set the ball rolling by coming together, to in that meeting set a fund to cater for security issues in their region, to see that the deep forest belt in their region is well secure, not to give room to the insurgents to have access into the western region as well. And beyond that, we heard that the governors as well called for state policing. And in this meeting that the northern governors had across the northern 19 northern governors were in attendance in Kaduna State, for example, with traditional rulers as well, to discuss the security situation of the North, which is very critical at this point in time. And they've come out to say that if they do nothing, they stand losing their future to escalating insecurity in Nigeria, where we'll see that if one begins to look at the issues, and the governors as well and the traditional rulers have spoken to it, going to that the level of poverty in their region, the heightened illiteracy in the region are contributory to the high level of insecurity we are witnessing in that region. And the earlier they start to do something in that line, the better for all. However, facing poverty and illiteracy may not be a quick fix, but one thing that can be a quick fix is the governors coming together, to have an agreement and decide on a path to follow, And in this meeting, they've taken decisive actions that I, for one, am excited for, coming out to, ask the federal government to ban mining, in the region for at least 6 months. And speaking to mining, I can tell you that these illegal minings that litter across the length and breadth of northern Nigeria are one of the cataclysmic effects that are fueling insurgency that we have in northern Nigeria. It's fueling insecurity in northern Nigeria. Because I tell you that the number of illegal mines that we have in northern Nigeria are unaccounted for, and the governors have come again to reaffirm, provide a lot of resources to non-state actors, giving them the opportunity to begin to regroup and have more arms. In some scenario, we've seen where they brandish more sophisticated weapons than our security agents, and we would keep asking to how they get fundings, and when there are available illegal mines. If the federal government will heed to the call of these northern governors and place a mining ban, at least for the 6 months that they've requested, I bet you, if we implement this policy and police it very well, you will see that insecurity will begin to be reduced, if not wipe that completely. Because over the years, we've spoken to the fact that illegal mining is part of the things that is fueling insurgency in northern Nigeria. One, they may have to dislodge the community where they want to take control of the mine. Then when they dislodge the community, if there are people around the area, they will be dislodged too. And beyond that, they will begin to mine and raise more funds. They will now have, myriads of unaccounted resources to their disposal to re-equip themselves.
Yeah.
So governments would take the right decision by taking a cue from the northern governors who have now come out to begin to speak truth. You know, there was a time where these things were shrouded in secrecy. Nobody wants to accept that, yes, there are mining going on in their region because these minings are unaccounted for.
Yeah.
We do not know what government is generating as revenue from some of this mining. And it is not the first time this is happening in the world. You remember that when America came, into the situation with Niger, Chad, there was a lot of, illegal mining activities going on in that place. And one of the things that were done was that they stopped locals from mining. Though I'm not in support that the Americans and the other foreign nationals took over the mining operation in these areas away from the locals. But one of the things that we witnessed was that insecurity was reduced when the mining operations were closed, to the indigenes and to some other foreigners from across the Sahel and Africa. So with that in mind, I believe that when this is implemented, the suspension of mining activities in the region will lead to, a situation where we'll see insecurity being reduced. Another issue that was raised by the meeting of the northern governors and traditional rulers is lending their voice, to their earliest call on May 10th when they called for state policing. This time around, we are beginning to see comprehensively that every voice is in accord and in tune that, yes, it's time for Nigeria to look into state policing. The president has led the ante by mandating the legislature to expedite action with their state counterparts to passing the legal needed reforms and the bill needed to institute state policing across the states in Nigeria. And this is quite welcome that the northern governors are speaking in one accord. It's been the PAN social cultural organization over time that has been calling for state policing. And this time around, we are seeing elected officials, beginning to speak to it. People are no longer as worried to the argument that the men that this state police, if it brought into effect, maybe abused by politicians. But one thing I have always spoken to is that with the enabling laws, that this may be difficult to be abused when you have enabling laws surrounding the institution of state police. But one, because of the fear of abuse, continue to wallow in the level of insecurity that we are witnessing in Nigeria. One of the ways we could curb this is by state police. I am an advocate of state and community policing, that this will go a long way in reducing criminality. And this is what is obtainable across anywhere in the globe. Come to the United States of America. You have community policing, you have state policing, and you have the federal policing. And what does that do? That helps you to check crime.
Yeah.
I always cite the case of the former governor of Anambra State, talk about Peter Obi, when he was talking about his days in office, where he enabled community policing. And the then commissioner of police came out to testify, yes, that Anambra State that was bedeviled before his era with bank robberies, witnessed no bank robbery throughout the period, that saw that it was so difficult that when you commit a crime in one community, and before you get to the next community, they've been radioed and they are waiting for you. And you can imagine what we will achieve if we are able to, have this legislation and set up state police and community policing. And kudos to Mr. President, who has equally told the National Intelligence Agency and the DSS to begin to oversee to the rehabilitation and the reemergence of forest guards. Right? With that in place, these insurgents will not be able to move about freely. You will see the cases of kidnapping will begin to reduce because they may not have access to the thick forests, to the thick communities where they take the victims to. And this is a step in the right direction. And this coming amidst the various incidents of kidnapping, terrorist and banditry activities that we are witnessing in the north. Remember that even recently in Shanono location, Shanono in Kano, we saw the kidnapping of 11 persons, including a nursing mother, which is a very heinous crime against humanity, to take hostage a nursing mother for that matter. The level of repetition of these things make us to speak about it as if, is something that should just be overlooked. Just like the Igbos will always say that in their language, meaning literally that when another person's corpse is being carried, people tend to look at it as if it's a log of wood that is being, carried.
Yeah.
Because he has not touched us, but we don't give an outcry to this scenario where insurgents will enter a village, and cut away 11 persons and the nursing mother. In some cases, we've heard that pregnant women were equally kidnapped. Though that's not to say that the government is not doing enough to see to this scenario, but the governors rising to this occasion, begin to meet and speak to one another about the situation is quite commendable. And this is a way to go. With this in mind, we will be able to check the crisis that we are witnessing in Nigeria concerning insecurity, where everybody is beginning to speak with one voice. And in this meeting again, they started mobilizing funds as well to raise about, talking about raising about 228 billion annually as an operational fund,
Okay.
to fight issues related to insecurity in
Yeah.
their region, where every state, every local government, would in every month contribute 1 billion naira, and then cumulatively in a year you get to 228 billion, which is a step in right direction.
Yes,
We've been
actually.
speaking to
Yeah,
these
to,
issues.
to encourage this
Yeah.
state police also.
Yes, and that will encourage that. And beyond the issue of the state policing and these funds that everybody is talking about, because what you hear every time there is an attack, you hear the governors telling you that they do not have control of security in their state, where they have to first of all call the federal before they have to send men to them, and where the commissioner of police in every state has to take order from the IGP, doesn't give you a cohesive approach to tackling security challenges. So with the state policing and every region coming together to begin to set funds, begin to prioritize the issue of insecurity, is something to warm up to, knowing that the Nigerian state is now taking it seriously amid the fact that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has come out to declare state of emergency on insecurity. And it is where I look forward that the governors of Eastern Nigeria as well, will come together and have a meeting, a tete-a-tete like this, where we begin to talk about how we curb instances of kidnapping in our region as well, where the South governors, if there's anything like that, the Niger Delta regions as well will come together to meet and see how they will curtail crime in their region. And with that, I will tell you that the Nigerian state, people will begin to, things will begin to return to normalcy, where we'll travel in peace, where we'll sleep with our eyes closed. Because when I keep telling you that I'm getting overwhelmed, discussing insecurity in Nigeria, because for almost a month plus, what we've been talking about is kidnapping and killings in Nigeria, and it's quite unfortunate and cannot be tolerated in any state. It's only in failed states that you see such scenario, and I know that Nigeria is not a failed state. We have leaders, we have a president who have the will, we have a Nigerian state that have the capacity. Then it's time for us to lead an onslaught and decimate these bandits by whatever name they go, ISWAP, Boko Haram, Lakoroma, whatever name they bear. We do not need to lead or listen to such nomenclature, but decimate them and decimate them totally.
All right, thank you very much for that, as we've all heard today. And that is all for our newspaper review here on Sunrise on Aneke TV. And please do not forget that you could grab any of your physical copies from any of your favorite vendor or catch the e-paper online for more broader information. And we'll be right back after the break.
Hooray! It's Christmas. The King is born. Hey children, it's time to laugh, to dance and have some fun. Put on your dancing shoes and bring your friends along. Come on, it's the Aneke TV Children's Christmas Party 2025. Let's go! We got dancing, spelling bees, sack race, jumping 1, 2, 3, lots of games and surprises too. All we are waiting for is you. And venue is Aneke TV, number 30, Edinburgh Street, Ogwini Layout, Enugu. Come take your seat. Time is 12 o'clock. Don't be late. We can't wait to celebrate. Sponsored by Indomie. Yummy treats. Colgate, our smile so sweet. Kellogg's, bring the crunchy cheers. Malta Guinness, energy all year, powered by Nigerian Breweries, and this is the best party guaranteed. Come one, come all, it's Christmas cheers. Be there, be happy, the fun, it's here.
You're still watching Sunrise on Aneke TV. Now we'll be taking you to our sports update today. The U.S. President Donald Trump will attend Friday's FIFA World Cup Finals draw at the Kennedy Center in Washington. The event is a major highlight of his second term and part of preparations for America's 250th independence anniversary next year. And the tournament has faced political tension, with the president suggesting some host cities may lose matches due to his crackdown on what he calls crime and illegal migration in certain democratic-run areas. The U.S. will co-host the 2026 World Cup with Canada and Mexico, with the draw expected to set the tone for global attention on the tri-national event. Kwara United forward Eze Chibuzo says he is deeply disappointed after his side 3-2 loss to Barrow FC in Kano. Chibuzo had opened scoring in the matchday 15 fixture, but said the team's efforts were not enough to secure a point. The striker, speaking to the club's media team, expressed determination to increase his contributions as the season progresses. He vowed to build on his current form and help the team bounce back. The Kwara United will host Niger Tornadoes in Ilorin this weekend as they seek to recover from the narrow defeat. And that is it for your sports update today. And now we'll be moving over to our celebration for today, which is the International Universal Health Coverage Day. And today, 2nd December, marks the International Health Coverage Day all around the world. Now, International Universal Health Coverage Day is being celebrated where you share personal health stories. You also engage with local representatives, host community discussions, and so on, also educate yourself and others. Now, International Universal Health Coverage Day began with a shared vision: healthcare should be available to all regardless of income or location. In 2012, the United Nations General Assembly endorsed a resolution urging countries to accelerate progress towards universal health coverage (UHC) as an essential priority for international development. This resolution emphasized that everyone should have access to quality, affordable healthcare. In 2014, the Universal Health Coverage Coalition started celebrating 12 December as UHC Day to commemorate this milestone. Then in 2017, the UN officially designated 12 December as International Universal Health Coverage Day, making it an annual observance to promote health for all individuals going through any health challenges, whether you can't afford the hospital or not. Now, simply, this day is just to mark a day where everybody can have an access to a health center and also to treat themselves from any diseases. And that is all for your celebration for today here on Sunrise on Aneke TV. We'll be taking a look at our business stock update.
All right, switching to the business stock updates from the Nigerian stock market that closed yesterday, Monday, 1st December 2025. The markets closed on a mildly negative note, with the all-share index down about 0.22% and total market capitalization slipping by roughly 197 to 200 billion naira. The Nigerian stock markets yesterday, the Nigerian all-share index yesterday closed around 143,210 points, down to about 0.22% all day. In market capitalization fell to about 91.1 trillion naira, also down roughly to 0.22%, while year-to-date return moderated to about 39.1%. Market activity was mixed. The number of these rose sharply, around 40% increase, while total volume and value traded declined compared to prior session. Then we'll bring you the top 5 gainers from yesterday's activities on the Nigerian stock market. The top gainers yesterday was led by Custodian and Allied Insurance, which was traded with the trade name Custodian, which adjusted plus 9.94% to close yesterday at 44 naira 80 kobo. They were followed by Multiverse Mining and Exploration, which is being traded as Multiverse. Multiverse adjusted plus 9.68% to close at 13 naira 60 kobo. They are followed by Unicell Interlinked. Unicell is traded with the name Unicell, which adjusted at plus 9.45% to close at 27 naira 80 kobo. Then followed by e-Transat International, which is traded with the name e-Transat. It adjusted plus 9.45% to close at 17 naira 95 kobo. And on the losers chart, the top 5 losers yesterday was Austin Lars, which yesterday adjusted minus 6.27% to close at 2 naira 69 kobo. Then they were followed by Deep Capital Management and Trust with the trade name DCAP. DCAP yesterday adjusted minus 5.56%. And then they were followed by FTN Coca Processor, which is being traded as FTN Coca, which adjusted yesterday for about 4.84%. And then they are followed on the losers list by Regency Alliance Insurance with the trading name Regalins, which yesterday adjusted for about 4.40%. And then another one in the market yesterday on the list of losers beyond the Regalians and the CAP and Austin Lars, who have that market activities yesterday, were led by the Access shares that traded heavily yesterday. However, we do want to inform you that the market has opened for today, December the 2nd, and if you want to make any investment owing to the market volatility in the market, please do consult a financial expert before you make any investment. And that's it for the update, Nigerian Stock Exchange update.
All right, thank you very much for that. And that is all for today's edition on Sunrise here today. And thank you for staying with us at this very moment. And please do not forget to tag us across our social media handles, across Instagram, TikTok, X, YouTube, all at Aneke TV. And do not forget to call us on 070-3043-7110. I am Deborah Wakaba.
And I'm Uche Osai. Remember, you're not here to be average. Be unique. Keep watching Aneke TV till come your way same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Hooray! It's Christmas. The King is born. Hey children, it's time to laugh, to dance and have some fun. Put on your dancing shoes and bring your friends along. Come on, it's the Aneke TV Children's Christmas Party 2025. Let's go! We got dancing, spelling bees, sack race, jumping 1, 2, 3, lots of games and surprises too. All we are waiting for is you. And venue is Aneke TV, number 30, Edinburgh Street, Ogwini Layout, Enugu. Come take your seat. Time is 12 o'clock. Don't be late. We can't wait to celebrate. Sponsored by Indomie. Yummy treats. Colgate, our smile so sweet. Kellogg's, bring the crunchy cheers. Malta Guinness, energy all year, powered by Nigerian Breweries, and this is the best party guaranteed. Come one, come all, it's Christmas cheers. Be there, be happy, the fun, it's here.
The federal government has launched a major drive to recruit thousands of new police officers and security personnel across Nigeria. We are here on the street to ask Nigerians if they would consider applying.
You see, personally, I won't advise somebody to apply or not to apply. The truth is this: if government involved in this recruitment can be sincere to themselves, we can go in. But sometimes people will tell you that let's go to hunt. At the end of the day, they call you, see your leg is out of this thing. So that's the problem. If they are sincere to themselves, people will come and help. But at the end of the day, you see when they recruit you, they got their back and fire. So that's the way I see it. Well, I'm old enough to involve myself in such a thing now. But the young ones I want to involve themselves. Let them do that. But let the government be sincere to themselves. Give them backup. No backup. Not when you give somebody sword to go and say you draw rent to beat that person. It's not good.
Police, nje emekwana gịnị? For what? I like my life. Me where they cuckoo cost police people now, maybe they come they cost me too. No, no is the answer, please. I don't find it honorable enough to serve this country in that capacity. Policemen, they are not as valued as they are in other countries. So why lay down your life for a country that does not care about you as a citizen first? Obuluze police. Doesn't make sense to me. There are places where, there are countries where if you open up mass recruitment, they will flock to join. But ask some other person, 1 out of 100 people will not even join. And even if they do join, they are joining because of lack of jobs, just something to be doing for the meantime before they get something better. Because police in Nigeria is not a noble profession.
Some people may say, I love to be a soldier. But for me, even if a soldier to marry a soldier, I don't like it. Police and all of them is what? The same thing. And they're not uniform people. That is, I don't like anything uniform. I don't know why.
Yes, I will. To protect my country and also to serve as a youth.
With the new mass recruitment, I would consider applying, but if the condition for applying is that I'll be sent to fight the war, I don't think I would. Not in the sense that I wouldn't, with the right training, I wouldn't be able to do the job, but I'm an only child. So I consider the fate of others, my mother especially, before any decision I make. If in the future, when peace has been achieved, if there comes an opportunity that comes up for me to be in any law enforcement agency, then fine and good, we'll do it. But for now, the instability would not help me, would not allow me to do that.
As Nigeria steps up efforts to tackle insecurity, the public's interest in joining the police and security forces seems mixed. I am Chinaza Ifeanyi, reporting for Aneke TV.
Aneke telivishọn heu agịrịgbo m dị egwu nkwa adịghị n'ahịa mgbochi ogwugwu kakwa ogwugwu ema heu mba ụwa bịa na ihe ebube eme mgbagbu ụwa gbatawa na ihe ebube emewa Aneke telivishọn na-emerụ ogbenye mere amadi ihe ị na-agba nkwụ ị na-eme nkepụta nwa ị na-akwa ozu ị na-agba akwụkwọ bịawa na Aneke telivishọn bịa ka ezuoru gị ozi ọma bịawa na Aneke telivishọn yidume heu na-emere ogbenye mere amadi ihe ume Igbo bịawo na nke a bụ nke anyị ịmara ebe oge ọrụ etiho mọnwụ ntakịtụkwamọnwụ si nne ya mere ha ji wee weta Aneke telivishọn ọ bụ onye gbagburu agụ nna ọ dị na soshal midia ọ dị na mgbagbu ọ dị n'Enugu site ọ dị na
God. God is not far. He is in the stillness after the chaos, in the laughter of children, in the stranger who smiled at you for no reason. He is not confined to buildings or books. He walks with us in dust and rain, in heartbreak and healing. He is the answer before we even speak. To seek God is to seek love, and to find God, truly find Him, is to love deeper, live fuller, and give without counting.
Imo State unfolds like a living poem, a tapestry of memory, aspiration, and transformation. Here, history is not settled in the past, but continues to move forward, carried in the footsteps of Imolites, whose resolve and optimism animate every corner of the land. The people and their spirit Imolites are renewed for their courage, enterprise, and intellect. From the bustling avenues of Owerri to the rolling hills of Idato, both the young and the old carry a quiet, steadfast conviction. Education is not just a means to an end, but a calling. Their ambition lives in the classrooms, in labs, in markets, and in the global Imo diaspora. Imo's cultural heartbeat is rhythmic and rich. High life melodies mingle with gospel harmonies and modern beats, each song echoing ancestral memory and youthful vigor. Traditional dances carry stories of community, origin, and resilience, even as innovation blossoms, rooted in respect for heritage. Infrastructure and roads. Under Governor Hope Uzodimma, Imo has undergone what many describe as a road revolution. The administration claims to have delivered over 120 quality roads within 5 years. Notable among them are the dualized Owerri-Olo and Owerri-Okigwe roads. The Mbidi-Oguta Road and 18-kilometer dual carriageway was commissioned in early 2025, aiming to boost economic activities in Oru West and Oguta LGAs, especially by connecting to the Orashi Energy Free Trade Zone. Other signature infrastructure includes the Azamta flyover to decongest traffic and the Emmanuel Iwanyam International Conference Center, which has been built to world-class standards. Governor Uzodimma has also stated that these infrastructure investments are not just for mobility, but are economic corridors intended to stimulate trade, reduce travel time, and integrate Imo's communities more closely. Under human capital development, health and education, and on health, the Governor Uzodimma administration reports a comprehensive revamp. Renovation of 305 health centers, purportedly one in each electoral ward. Establishment of 55 new primary health centers announced in 2025 to expand access, particularly in rural areas. Construction of 3 new general hospitals at Ohaji, Oguta, and Omuma. Revitalization of the Imo State University Teaching Hospital and the Specialist Hospital, plus re-accreditation of nursing and midwifery schools. Creation of a state health insurance scheme known as Imo Health Insurance, which has reportedly covered more than 66,000 residents. Deployment of mobile clinics to reach rural and underdeserved communities. In education, Governor Uzodimma has significantly expanded tertiary education. What was once one functioning public university has grown to 3, along with a polytechnic and a college of education. He has also prioritized youth empowerment and governance. There are strong signals of financial reforms. According to some reports, Uzodimma has focused heavily on capital spending, budgeting major parts of the state resources towards infrastructure and development. Then, Imo under Emeka Ihedioha, renewal and vision. While much of the recent narrative focuses on Governor Uzodimma, it is important to acknowledge the contributions of his predecessor, Chief Emeka Ihedioha. Through his rebuild Imo agenda, Chief Ihedioha prioritized environmental renewal. There were efforts to restore drainage, improve waste management, plant community trees, and reintroduce refuse compactor vehicles. He also restructured state finances, including implementing a treasury single account for greater financial discipline and automating revenue collection to improve the state's internally generated revenue. In agriculture, Chief Ihedioha launched an initiative called Rice Revolution to boost rice production, turn rural youths into farmers, and partner with the private sector for food security. For youth and sports, Chief Ihedioha's government reportedly worked on sports infrastructure across the 27 local government areas, envisioning healthy, active youth participation in sports. What truly defines Imo is its resilience. Where decay once prevailed, renewal now pauses. Where neglect reigned, leadership dares to imagine. The story of Imo is not only about roads and hospitals, it is about a people who refuse to accept stagnation, who carry their heritage with dignity, and who dare to dream of a better tomorrow. As night falls over palm-lined hills and Owerri streets, hum with life, Imo is not just a place, it is a promise built in classrooms, clinics, markets, and fields. In its people lies its greatest wealth, and in its bold, forward-looking dreams, its greatest power.
Sex is sacred, not shameful. In its truest form, it is more than the body. It is soul speaking to soul, fire woven with trust, vulnerability clothed in consent. But when misused, it breaks more than bodies, it fractures spirits. That is why it must be approached with reverence, not recklessness. Let us teach to love before lust, connection before conquest. For when sex is honored, it becomes not just pleasure, but poetry.
The Insight with Uche Osai.
Having the political will to confront whatever is the challenges.
Igbo man wrestles with
the tortoise that had a lot of ingenuity, a lot of ideas, and the tireless. It will take the broad mind of government in power to say, let there be electoral reform, no matter whose heart is God.
I was there. We did everything. All of us came and supported him with our last blood.
In-depth analysis, expert views, real voices. Uncover the stories shaping Nigeria today. Deep dive, honest, unfiltered, only on The Insight with Uche Osai on Aneke TV. Join us.
From the tiniest cells to the farthest galaxies, life holds secrets we are only beginning to uncover. Why are we here? What connects us all? What unseen forces shape our destiny? Join Professor Jude Udenta as he explores the wonders, the questions, and the revelations that define existence. Mysteries of life, where every answer sparks a new discovery. Watch now on Aneke TV every Monday.
Good day, Nigerians. A recent viral